Hello and welcome back to module 7.1, and this is the second part of module 7. And in this module, or in this section, I'm going to talk about PHP and string. And so idea here is that ability to present in string. We talked about string in JavaScript, but in PHP you will see additional elements that the PHP community add in order for us to do a better job or a better organization of the data and be able to sort it better. One of the things that I need to remind myself, and I hope I will remind with you, is that in this session we will use the echo, and you're going to place either the string variable or use the quotes to create a string that the echo function will input. So in this case, my string is saying hello, and I will say echo my string, but I will add another echo without any string attached to it, another string that is being used. So I love using PHP. So in this case, you'll see the difference between the hello and I love using PHP. And the reason that I emphasize the idea here is that in the second echo, I insert the H5, which is HTML. Remember that there is H1, H2, H3, H4. Those are the headlines that you can apply to the HTML. I use that in this case. I use that I love using PHP, and that's why it is bold. So again, the syntax of the HTML and PHP works together, and I want you to think about that. One of the things that we're going to learn with regard to the string, we can apply a long string. So you can use the HTML to break it down in order for you to make more sense when the end user will see your work. So make sure that you understand where to insert the HTML into the PHP. So I also want you to be very careful with using the echo. Echo is a great way for us to represent or capture that in HTML. But don't use quotes inside the string, and try to use a single quotes and use it correctly maybe with a black slash. That will help to display it and apply that. So I gave you an example here of what works and what will not work, and I also put it a comment. The slash is with red is comments. So this will not work. The first example will not work because it's surrounded with H5. So in this case, class H5 will not work. You are missing the point of HTML. You are trying to bring together another class, which is the styling sheet. It will not work, and it will cause you a problem. Statistical, not statistical, but syntax problem, because it is not surrounded. How can you do that? In this case, it will be escape the quotes, and you're going to escape the quotes from the beginning, and then after that the slash closing the quotes in order for you to do that. It also can use, instead of double quotes, you can use single quotes, and in this case it will work also. So again, be careful with the echo. Just make sure that you understand. The black slash tells the PHP that you want the quotation used within the string and not use the end echo string. So this is important for us to remember. The echoing variable, the PHP developers, this is where the contribution to the PHP with the web made the developers of PHP put extra work to make a common task of echoing all variable almost to the perfection. So no quotation are required, even the variable does not hold a string. So this is the correct way for us to echoing variables. Again, I'm using it in that way, and I'm using as my string, and I'm using numerical values, and I also use a letter, and I'm going to use how it will display it, and in this case this is how it will display. So a little bit more, and you can see that the variable in double quotation will tell the PHP you want to grab the string value that the variable and use it in the string. So the example below is a good feature of it. So in this case, I'm going to add a lot of things. So I'm going to first of all create my string, and it consists of not only the first two words, but also the second part of it, and I'm closing it with double quotes. So in this case, I'm going to use the echo string alone, and in this case, I'm going to use echo, and I'm going to use my string and how it will be displayed, and this is what it will end up doing. So I want you to look at that, just learn about that, see if it works for you, see if it makes sense. Remember, echo is not a function, rather it is a language construct. So when you use functions in PHP, they have a particular form. So for now, just use the echo as a special tool that will come to know and love in order for you to do that. Back to our subject and back to our creation, and with regard to string creation. A string can use directly in a function or can be stored in a variable. So again, example of how to create exact same string twice. First storing in the variable, and then second use as a case, we send the string directly to the echo. And again, this is what is the output of it. So how it will look is something I did not give an example, my mistake, but this is how it will, the rationale behind it. In this example, the first string will be stored in my variable, and while the second string will use the echo and not be stored. Remember, you have to save your string into a variable if you are planning on using them more than once. The result, they will look identical just as we thought. So advanced web programming, unlock your potential, advanced unlock potential. This is what it will display. So in the issue that you need to be aware of is a single quotes versus double quotes. So far, we have created a string with double quotes. It is also correct to create a string with a single quotes. And the idea behind it is that we're going to phrase it a little bit differently. So in this case, I'm going to extend my double quotes, and I'm going to say how it will play out and what it will display. So if you're going to use a single quote within a string, you have to escape the single quote with a black slash, which is what I did here. I use it as a black splash. So in this case, it will look like something like this. This is the result of it. So when we are creating a string with double quotes, once the black is used, it can be also, as I showed you in a single quotes, it can also use in double quotes. And again, it is a strong tool that we can use. And in this case, I use the black slash with N and R and T and $sign and double quotes in order for us to do that, to apply. It is a good exercise for you to do. I highly recommend that you apply that just to see it. But remember, you need to save the file in your desktop and then upload it to the server in order for to see the action. This is why I'm so obsessed that you will have a good access to a machine that is a web machine in order for you to display the PHP. Back to our module. If you try to escape a character, it does not need to be such as then the black slash will show them the output of the string, and this is really important because this is giving you the ability to have more control of the text that you are displaying. One of the techniques that often used is a here doc. There's let me start again. There's two methods to consider traditional way to create a string in most programming languages. The PHP introduced the idea of here doc that lets the programmer create a multi-line string without using quotations. However, the creation of creating a string using a head doc is more difficult and can lead to a little bit problems. So example, I'm using my string and I will call it test. So advanced web programming class at USA, unlock your potential, and I will close it with test. This is the idea behind it, and I will say echo my string. So again, the here doc will be displayed, but again, it might be causing problems, and the use of how to apply that, as I explain here, is that you might run into problem when you have more advanced notation or advanced ideas, but it is part of the PHP programming, and I want you to be fully aware of it. So again, this is the way for us to do that. Another way for us to talk about PHP is that the idea of operators. And you already seen the string concatenation operator under the string. Now we're going to see it as assigned to as an operator. So the PHP will handle more than one operator at a time. So we have five types of operator: assign, arithmetics, comprehensive, string, and combination. This is where the PHP is very powerful. In the assign operator, the operator uses a set of variable equal to a value or a set of value to another variable value, such as assignment value down with quotation inside equal. So in the equal character. So example, how to apply to it. So note that has the value of R. Assignment operator also used in conjunction with arithmetic operator, which is quite cool, because one of the things that you're going to learn is that you're going to collect data from a shopping cart. And how do you do that? Arithmetic operator. And so the arithmetic operator allowed you to add or divide or multiply, and those are the things that is really important. So those are the things that you need to know how to do and how to apply to it and how to adjust it. So this is the display. Comparison operator is also used the relationship between variables or values. So we learn about that in the if condition. The idea behind comparison operator in PHP is to provide you inside conditional statement and evaluate either false, true, or false. So here is an example. Assume that we have a value of x equal 4 and we have y equal 5. So we can have basic operator symbols: equal to, not equal to, less than, greater, less than, or equal to, greater than, in order for us to evaluate that. And we will have already seen that the period will add these two strings together and technically allowed us to operate on those assumptions. So again, this is how it will be displayed. The combination of arithmetics and assignment operator is very common, and this is something that already been done on the web quite a lot. So you can increment by a counter by 1, which will be a counter and $ plus 1. However, there's a short thing for doing this, and you can say basically $ counter plus equal 1. So basically it's a combination between arithmetics and assignment. The assignment is 1 and the arithmetics is plus, and so we are adding those together in order for us to display that. So more symbols on the symbols, operating symbols, and how they display. We can also talk about pre and post increment and how it play around. I'm sure that you can see it yourself. You will have this document, so you will be able to understand and comprehend what I've done. I want to add a little bit note here. So as you can see, the $x++ is not reflected of echo text because its variable is not increment until the line code is executed. And this is important. Why is it important? The issue is where is the increment, the execution of the code actually happens and how it been displayed. So this is where the PHP again is a really powerful language in compared to what we have learned so far. It includes the function or the command include. So include takes a file name and simply inserted the file context into the script that issued the include command. So in this case, the text string contains 0 or more characters surrounding by a double or single quotation. So the text string used is the values or the assigned to a value. In this case, I have a name and I have the explorer and what it is. So the text string can be surrounded with single quotes marks, as we talked about that. But working with text instead of numbers, this is something that is really important, because to include a quote string within string surrounded by double quotes marks, you surrounded the quote string with a single quotes mark. To include a quote string within string surrounded by a single quote, you're surrounding the quote string with a double marks. So in this case, I'm adding the p, the HTML p, which is a new paragraph, and into the overall, and this is what it will result. So it is a combination between what I have done before. In this example, and I added the idea of additional to it. So working with a string operator. In PHP, we have two operating to combine the string. Concatenation operator and assign operator. Both of them are very powerful. In this case, destination, location, destination, and it will display the destination. In this case, again, it will, with the assignment, I will have an assignment to it in order for it to display. Adding space characters and sequence will also add another dimension. So in PHP, the escape character is a black splash. So in this case, the echo, in this case, I showed the idea of Marilyn Monroe. Real name is Norma Jean Baker, and I will close it with HTML-P, and the echo will display the following. Adding escape characters and sequence is also part of it, and I use it to show you, if you are into the idea of it, the inserts black splash, the insert of a $, you can add it to it in order for it to make more sense with that. So again, I echo and I ask the Explorer how to apply to it, and this is the result. A simple and complex string syntax is also part of the equation. You can use simple string syntax, use the value of the variable within a string by including the variable name inside text string with a double quotation mark. In this case, the vegetable, and I will say broccoli as the equation mark, and I will say, do you have any vegetable? And the answer will probably be broccoli. So when a variable are placed within brace inside the string, it's called complex string, and in this case the carrot and how it will be displayed. So one of the other way of us to do is parsing the string, which is extracting characters of substring from a larger string. When programming, the person referred to the extract of information from a string or a variable. So in this case, counting characters in words in a string, this is the most common use containing a function, and this is how it applied. Word count is also can be done in PHP, and this is how it, example, book title, and I will say count the book words, how many words are there, in order for me to extract that. So finding and extract character of a substring is also part of the equation, and I gave you all the common commands in order for you to do that. The last function is strip pause, which is perform a case-sensitive search and return a position of the current occurrence of the string in another string. It's two parts arguments in it, and if again it is part of the text, if you want, I copy it from the text. So if you go over that and it doesn't make sense, maybe in my notes will make more sense out of it. So this is it. So again, PHP is a series of characters. There were characters at the same as byte. So that means that PHP support 256 character set and does not offer negative support. In this module, we cover echo function, we cover echo variables, we talked about text string, we talked about string creation, we talked about single quotes, and we talked about double quote. We also talked about here doc, an assignment operator, arithmetic operator, comparison operator, and string operator. I think this is the basic what I want you to remember. This is a summary of the notes from the textbook. I hope this lecture helped. I hope this video make more sense. You have my notes, you have the textbook. Your turn now to examine it and to learn more. Until next time, have fun.